There's a truth most couples never say out loud because it breaks the comfortable script. A lot of relationship conflict isn't lack of love, it's a translation problem. Men and women often speak different emotional languages, and instead of learning each other's dialect, many couples fall into the same trap. She tries to fix how he communicates, and he withdraws because he feels judged for being himself. So let's say this cleanly, in a way men recognize immediately. There's a real disconnect between what many men need and what many women assume men need. A lot of women think men need to open up more, talk more, share more feelings, process more. Sometimes that's true. Some men do need that. But a lot of the time, what men actually need first is simpler and deeper. We need to be understood on our own terms, not constantly translated through a lens that turns our every sentence into hidden subtext. We need our style respected, not corrected. We need our love recognized as love, not dismissed as bare minimum. Because here's what's happening in thousands of homes right now. A man is giving the relationship what he thinks love looks like: loyalty, consistency, protection, provision, problem solving, staying present. And he's still being told he's emotionally failing. And if you're a man listening to this, you know the exhaustion I'm talking about. You can work all day, keep your word, handle responsibilities, keep your body in shape, stay faithful, show up when it matters, and still get hit with you don't communicate, you don't care, you're emotionally unavailable, you never open up. At some point, you stop feeling like a partner and start feeling like a project. And when a man feels like a project, he doesn't get more emotional. He gets quieter. So in this video, I'm going to break down what's really going on. Why so many women miss what men are actually saying. Why so many men feel misunderstood, even in long-term relationships. And how this misunderstanding slowly destroys attraction, respect, and peace. This is not a women are bad video. This is not a men are perfect video. This is a clarity video. Because if you can name the pattern, you can stop bleeding inside your own relationship. 1. Men communicate for function, not performance. Let's start with a basic truth that changes everything. Most men communicate with purpose, not to create emotional ambiance, not to decorate the moment, not to perform connection, to exchange information, to coordinate, to solve. If a man says, "What time is dinner?" he is asking what time dinner is. If he says, "I'll be home late," he means he'll be home late. If he says, "I'm tired," it usually means he's tired, physically, mentally, socially, and he needs to decompress. There's no secret message. But many women were raised in a communication culture where subtext matters more. Tone matters more. Emotional texture matters more. And because of that, some women treat male communication like it's coded. They start searching for meanings that aren't there. They ask, "Why did you say it like that?" They ask, "What's wrong?" They ask, "Are you mad?" They ask again and again and again. And the man, who is actually fine, slowly becomes not fine because now he's being interrogated for a crime he didn't commit. Here's a real scenario you've seen. She sends random photos throughout the day: a coffee cup, a desk, a sandwich, a selfie with no message. He replies, "Nice," or a thumbs up, or "Looks good." And she spirals, "You don't care about my day." From the male perspective, he's confused because nothing was communicated that required a real response. He didn't get a question. He didn't get a request. He got a picture of a sandwich. And now he's being told he failed an emotional test he didn't know he was taking. This is where men start resenting communication itself, because it stops being communication and becomes constant evaluation. Some women want a man to react emotionally to ordinary moments, not because they're too needy, but because they experience connection through shared emotion. They're seeking a feeling, I'm seen. But here's the catch: men often show I see you differently, not through enthusiastic commentary, through stability and action. And if you don't recognize that, you'll punish a man for loving you in his native language. 2. Men show love through action, loyalty, and presence. A man might not gush over your promotion, but he'll stay up with you prepping for the meeting. A man might not cry during the sad movie, but he'll hold you and stay steady while you fall apart. A man might not write paragraphs about what you mean to him, but he'll fix your car at midnight, in the rain, because he refuses to let you be unsafe. That's love. It's not poetic love. It's not cinematic love, but it's real. And one of the most damaging things a relationship can do is convince a man that his most natural expressions of commitment don't count. Because if his actions don't count, then what does? Only words, only emotional displays, only a certain style of vulnerability. If that's the rule, then the relationship becomes a performance contest, not a partnership. A man doesn't want to be graded on how well he imitates a style that isn't his. He wants his effort to land. He wants his loyalty to matter. He wants his consistency to be appreciated, not treated like background noise. 3. The cultural mistake: different gets labeled inferior. This is where things get destructive. A lot of modern advice treats male communication as a defect, as if men are emotionally stunted because they don't communicate like women, as if the goal is to upgrade men into a more emotionally expressive model. And again, some men do need growth. Plenty of men avoid emotions because they were never taught how to handle them. But here's what never gets said with the same energy: some women also need to grow by learning how to recognize male emotional expression without trying to rewrite it. Because different isn't broken, direct isn't cold, quiet isn't uncaring, nonverbal support isn't emotional incompetence. Men often support each other through presence, not interrogation. When a man's friend is going through something, most men don't circle him like a therapist panel asking for a detailed emotional timeline. They show up, they work on something together, they lift, they fish, they drive, they sit, they keep life normal enough that the man can breathe again. And for men, that's real support. It's not avoidance, it's respect. It's saying, you don't have to perform pain to be taken seriously. Some women don't understand this because their style is different. Their support is verbal, detailed, emotionally explicit. So they look at men and assume you guys don't care. But men do care. Men care deeply. Men just often care in a quieter way. 4. The real issue. Many women ask for opening up, but punish the result. Now we get to the part men don't say publicly because it sounds harsh. A lot of women say they want vulnerability from men, but they only want certain types of vulnerability. They want safe vulnerability. They want emotions that don't threaten their sense of security. They want tenderness. They want affection. They want tears in a movie. But when a man reveals fear, uncertainty, or pressure, especially about provision, work, or identity, some women panic. And that panic becomes criticism, or doubt, or, so what are you going to do about it? Or worse, it gets used later in an argument. A man tells his partner, I'm worried about my job. And instead of support, he receives anxiety and distrust. Now he feels he has to carry her emotions too, on top of his own problem. So he learns a lesson. Don't share that. And women will hear that and say, he's emotionally closed. But men will hear it and say, I tried honesty and it cost me respect. This is why just open up doesn't work as advice. Because men don't avoid vulnerability for no reason. A lot of men avoid vulnerability because they've learned through experience that some partners don't hold it gently. They react to it, they judge it, they store it, they weaponize it. So if a woman truly wants a man to open up, the first requirement isn't that he talks more. The first requirement is that she proves she can handle the truth without turning it into a crisis or a future weapon. 5. What men actually need in relationships. So let's get specific. Here's what men need that often gets missed: respect for emotional autonomy. A man will share when he's ready, not on demand, not under interrogation, not as a relationship assignment. If you force the timing, you don't get depth, you get performance. Men need the freedom to process internally and speak when their thoughts are formed. Appreciation for problem solving. Many men show love by fixing, by planning, by building a solution. Some women interpret this as not validating feelings. But for men, solutions are care. If you tell a man you're stressed and he starts thinking of ways to reduce that stress, he's not dismissing you. He's protecting you. So the move isn't stop trying to fix. The move is balance. Thank you. I appreciate you thinking ahead. I also just need you to hear me for a minute. That language keeps his instincts respected while still getting what you need. Space without punishment. A lot of men need solitude the way some people need sleep, not as a rejection of their partner, but as a reset. If every request for space becomes a fight, who are you talking to? Why don't you want to be with me? Then the relationship becomes claustrophobic. And claustrophobic relationships kill attraction. Recognition of action based love. Provision is love. Protection is love. Reliability is love. Not in a buy her stuff way, in a I carry responsibility so you can breathe way. A man wants his effort to be seen before he's criticized for not speaking in poetic paragraphs. Trust instead of surveillance. If you don't trust him, the relationship is already damaged. Constant phone checking, tracking, interrogations. This doesn't create loyalty. It creates a resentment. A man wants to be trusted until proven otherwise, not treated like a suspect forever. Respect for his interests and identity. Hobbies aren't childish. They're regulation. Sports, gym, cars, gaming, fishing, building, tinkering. These things aren't random addictions. They're often how men decompress, connect with other men, and maintain a self outside of work and relationship duties. When a partner mocks or resents those interests, she's not just teasing, she's attacking his mental health maintenance system. And when men lose that system, they don't become better partners. They become duller, more irritable, less motivated, and eventually less attracted. Male friendships without guilt. Some women treat male friendships like competition, but for men, brotherhood is psychological support. It's where men can speak in their own language without being analyzed. A man needs that without being made to feel selfish for it. Communication taken at face value. Sometimes I'm fine means I'm fine. Sometimes silence means I'm thinking. Sometimes I'm tired means I need to shut my brain off. If you treat every quiet moment like a hidden problem, you create problems where none existed. Men need peace in the relationship, not emotional archaeology every time they breathe differently. 6. The myth that destroys couples. Talk more and everything gets better. Let's say this clearly. Talking is not healing for everyone. Some men process by doing. They need motion, action, structure, time. Forced talking can feel like being pinned down and dissected. It can feel like being demanded to narrate emotions before they're even formed. That doesn't create intimacy. It creates resistance. So if you want intimacy with a man, don't demand constant processing. Create safety, create respect, create calm. Then he'll talk more naturally because he won't feel like every sentence will be evaluated. 7. What women often want that men misread. Now, to be fair, men miss things too. A lot of women aren't asking for emotional performance because they're dramatic. They're asking for it because they want to feel chosen. They want, I'm thinking of you. They want warmth. They want reassurance that they matter, not just that the bills are paid. And men often assume, I'm here, I'm loyal, I'm providing. Of course you matter. But some women don't feel love through assumption. They feel it through expression. So the goal isn't for men to become someone else. The goal is translation. Men learn small, consistent expressions that land for her. Women learn to recognize action-based love that lands for him. That's partnership, not one-sided adaptation. 8. The calm solution. Build a shared translation system. Here's what a mature couple does without turning the relationship into therapy theater. They build agreements, simple ones, real ones. For example, 1, when he's quiet, she doesn't interrogate. She asks once, calmly, you good or do you need a minute? If he says he's good, she believes him. 2, when she shares stress, he asks what she wants. Do you want comfort or solutions or both? Now he doesn't guess. He delivers accurately. 3, they respect decompression rituals, gym time, hobby time, friend time, protected, not guilted. 4, they don't punish vulnerability. If he opens up, she doesn't escalate it into panic or future ammunition. If she opens up, he doesn't mock it or dismiss it. 5, they end the scoreboard. No weaponizing old mistakes. No dragging the past into every present disagreement. Men especially need a statute of limitations on conflict because constant relitigation kills respect. 9. The bottom line for men. If you're a man listening, you are not broken because you don't communicate like a woman. You don't need to become a different species to be a good partner, but you do need to be clear about your needs. And you need to choose partners who respect them. A woman who truly loves you will not treat your masculinity like a defect. She will see the value in your steadiness. She will appreciate your loyalty. She will respect your silence. She will recognize the way you carry responsibility as love, not as bare minimum. And if she can't do that, you have a decision to make. Because the loneliest place in the world isn't being single. It's being in a relationship where you're constantly misunderstood and constantly told the way you naturally love is not enough. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments, man to man. What do you do in relationships that you believe is love, yet it keeps getting dismissed? And what do you wish women understood about the way men communicate and process emotion? Write it clearly. No insults, no rage, just truth. Because the more men tell the truth about what we actually need, the harder it becomes for society and for partners to keep telling us we're wrong for being men.